In the heart of St. Petersburg, where the Neva River whispered secrets to the cobblestone streets, there was a small lounge called Zolotaya Nok, the Golden Night. Its walls, draped in deep crimson velvet, glowed under the soft amber light of chandeliers. The air carried the faint scent of aged vodka, sweet pastries, and the murmur of quiet conversations. It was a place where time slowed, where people came to sip their drinks and share their hearts. On a chilly autumn evening, with frost kissing the windows, the lounge felt like a warm embrace against the cold outside. Anya Petrova sat at a corner table, her fingers tracing the rim of a crystal glass filled with cranberry kvass. Her dark hair fell in soft waves over her wool scarf, and her eyes, sharp yet kind, scanned the room. She was a journalist, known for her quiet courage and her ability to unravel truths others preferred to keep hidden. Tonight, she wasn't here for work, or so she told herself. She was here to meet her old friend, Dmitry Volkov, a man whose charm and secrets were as much a part of him as his tailored coats. The lounge was alive with its usual rhythm, the clink of glasses, the low hum of a balalaika playing somewhere in the background, and the soft laughter of patrons wrapped in their own stories. Anya loved this place. It felt like a pause in the world's chaos, a moment to breathe. But tonight, her heart felt heavy. She had heard whispers, rumors about Dmitry's personal life that troubled her. He was a public figure, a charismatic businessman with a smile that could sway crowds. Yet, behind that smile, Anya sensed cracks. She didn't want to pry, but she couldn't ignore the truth either. It was her nature to seek it, even when it hurt. Dmitry arrived late, as always. His broad shoulders filled the doorway as he shook snow from his coat. His eyes found Anya's, and he flashed a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Anya, my star," he said, his voice warm but strained, as he slid into the chair across from her. "You look like you're carrying the weight of the world tonight." She smiled faintly. "Just the weight of a few questions, Dima." Her tone was gentle, but there was a spark in her words, like a match waiting to light. The lounge seemed to hush around them, though no one else noticed. The bartender polished a glass, the chandeliers flickered, and the balalaika's notes drifted like falling leaves. Anya leaned forward, her voice soft but clear. "I heard something today. About you. About Marina." Marina was Dmitry's wife, a quiet woman whose elegance hid a world of unspoken thoughts. The rumors said their marriage was unraveling, that Dmitry's public charm masked private failures. Anya didn't want to believe it, but she had to know. Dmitry's smile faltered. He sipped his vodka, the ice clinking against the glass like a warning. "Anya, you and your questions," he said, his voice low, almost a whisper. "Why do you always dig where it hurts?" "Because the truth matters," she replied, her words steady but kind. "You taught me that, Dima. Years ago, when we were just kids dreaming of changing the world." He leaned back, his eyes drifting to the window where snowflakes danced in the streetlights. The lounge felt smaller now, the air thicker, as if the walls themselves were listening. Anya waited, giving him space to speak. She knew Dmitry, his pride, his stubborn heart. He wouldn't open up easily, but she also knew he trusted her. They had shared too many late-night talks, too many dreams, for him to shut her out completely. The balalaika paused, and the silence felt like a breath held too long. Dmitry finally spoke, his voice barely above a murmur. "Things with Marina, they're not what they seem. Everyone thinks they know us, our life, our love. But they don't. They see the parties, the smiles, the perfect picture. They don't see the nights we don't speak, the rooms we don't share." Anya's heart ached. She wanted to reach across the table, to take his hand, but she stayed still, letting his words fill the space. "What happened, Dima?" she asked, her voice soft as the snow outside. He sighed, rubbing a hand over his face. "It's not one thing. It's years. Years of me being, me. Always chasing the next deal, the next spotlight. Marina needed more than that. She needed me to stay, to listen. And I didn't. Not enough." The lounge seemed to wrap them in its warmth, shielding their words from the world outside. Anya thought of her own life, her endless pursuit of stories, the way it kept her from her family, her friends. She understood Dmitry's regret more than she wanted to admit. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. "I could have helped, or at least listened." Dmitry's laugh was bitter, like cold wind. "Because you're Anya Petrova. You'd have written it in your column, made it a headline." She flinched, but his words weren't cruel, just honest. "I wouldn't," she said quietly. "Not about you." He looked at her then, really looked at her, and something softened in his eyes. "I know," he said. I'm sorry, I don't know how to fix this, Anya. Marina's leaving, she told me last week. And tomorrow, she's speaking at some event. On television, live, she's going to tell the world everything. Anya's breath caught. This was the bombshell, the truth she hadn't expected. Marina, the quiet one, the one who always stood in Dimitri's shadow, was about to step into the light. Not with anger, Anya sensed, but with honesty. And it would break Dimitri, not because of his pride, but because he still loved her. The balalaika started again, its notes slow and mournful, like a heartbeat echoing through the lounge. Anya sipped her kvass, letting the tart sweetness ground her. What are you going to do? She asked. Dimitri stared at his glass, the vodka untouched now. I don't know. Part of me wants to stop her, to beg her to stay quiet. But another part, maybe she's right. Maybe the world should know I'm not the man I pretend to be. The words hung between them, heavy and raw. Anya felt the weight of them, not just for Dimitri, but for herself. She had spent years chasing truth, exposing lies, but what did it cost? She thought of her own empty apartment, the unanswered letters from her sister, the nights she chose work over love. Dimitri's pain was a mirror, and it stung. The lounge's amber light seemed to dim, or maybe it was just Anya's heart. She leaned forward, her voice steady but warm. Dima, you're not perfect. None of us are, but you're not your mistakes either. You can still choose. You can talk to Marina. Not to stop her, but to listen. To show her you're still the man she loved once. He looked at her, his eyes searching hers for something, hope, maybe, or forgiveness. And if it's too late? He asked. Then you let her speak, Anya said. You let her have her truth. And you find yours. The lounge felt alive again, the hum of voices returning like a tide. Dimitri nodded, slow and thoughtful, as if her words were sinking in. They sat in silence for a while, the balalaika weaving its melody around them, the chandeliers casting golden shadows on the walls. Anya felt a shift, a gentle twist in the air, like the moment before dawn when the world holds its breath. The next evening, Anya sat in her small apartment, the television glowing in the dim room. Marina's event was being broadcast live, a charity gala filled with St. Petersburg's elite. Anya's heart raced as Marina stepped to the podium, her face calm but resolute. The camera lingered on her, and Anya saw something new in her eyes, strength, not anger. Marina spoke, her voice clear and steady. She didn't mention Dimitri by name, but her words were a quiet storm. She talked about love, about trust, about the courage to walk away when a heart grows heavy. She spoke of building a life true to oneself, even when it meant leaving behind what others expected. The audience was silent, captivated, and Anya felt tears prick her eyes. This wasn't a bombshell meant to destroy, it was a truth meant to heal. Anya's phone buzzed. A message from Dimitri. I watched. I heard her. Thank you. She smiled, a small, sad smile, and typed back, be kind to yourself, Dima. Days later, Anya returned to Zolotaya Nok. The lounge was the same, crimson walls, amber light, the balalaika's gentle hum. But something felt different, lighter. She sat at her usual table, her kvass glowing in the candlelight. Dimitri wasn't there, but she didn't expect him to be. She had heard he was taking time away, stepping back from the spotlight to find his way. Marina, too, was finding hers, her speech sparking conversations across the city about truth and love. Anya sipped her drink, the tartness sharp on her tongue. She thought of her own life, her own truths waiting to be faced. The lounge seemed to whisper to her, its warmth a reminder that life was messy but beautiful, flawed but worth fighting for. She pulled out her notebook and began to write, not a story for her column, but one for herself. A story about courage, about listening, about the golden glow of truth that could light even the darkest nights. As the balalaika played on, Anya felt a quiet peace settle over her. The world outside could wait. For now, she was here, in this moment, and it was enough.